Let's have a word of prayer and we'll get started. Father, we thank you for the day. We thank you for blessing the life, Lord. We thank you for the opportunity you give us to serve our county, Lord. We just ask you to be with us tonight, be with everything that's done and said here, be in accordance with your will. Watch over and care for us and give us safe travels home. We ask all things in your name. Amen. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We got a few things to look at and talk about and discuss. Just knock out the, we'll get into a lot of other things, talk about the Air Care contract.
It's the same contract we've had for the last several years with them. Not any change. It's $40,000. The money's budgeted, as I said at the county commission meeting the other night. And you can upgrade the coverage. You can, if you're a senior, you can upgrade the family rate is $45. Standard rate is $55. And if you buy the upgraded package, that'll give you access to 320 locations in 38 states that you can be flown from. If you don't, this package that McNair County pays for only pays for travel from or flight from McNair County to the hospital.
So they fly you from Magnolia, say, or Jackson General to Vanderbilt or something like that, you're not covered. McNair County's not covered under McNair County.
Travel has to be from you have to be in McNair County. You have to be transported from McNair County. We have to be a helicopter. That's what this $40,000 goes to that. And that's why you would need the, and I have that, I have the additional package myself, but that's why you would need the additional coverage. That way if you're on the road in any of those 320 locations, you'd be covered there too.
That's annual fees, right, Larry?
That's right, it's an annual fee.
It's a one-time there.
It's $55, the standard rate, senior annual rate is $45.
You can get up to a 3-year membership.
Yeah, you can get different levels of it, they'll work with you on different things.
What do they qualify as a senior?
I'm bad.
60 years of age or older.
Is that what it says?
Yes. I qualify.
You see those dots, that's the location.
And our Care bought out Wing and Air Back and bought out all of them around here anywhere closed in it. So we've got one entity now that is going to be taking care of it. I had a question a couple of months ago. We signed a contract. Who was the last Wing or Air Back?
We've had Air helicopter here, but it's
Air Back, and did that carry over to this? And yes, it would. So, but we're signing another contract now with Air Med that bought out everybody. So shouldn't be any issues with that.
Larry, if you would, please make it clear what the budgeted $40,000 covers.
It covers pickup and transport within McNair County for any individual that's a resident of McNair County. Now, if you read that stipulation there too, it says, if a covered individual transported is uninsured at the time of transport, hospital wing will bill the covered individual at the Medicare allowable rate for transport.
Right.
See, before when it was Air Wing, they didn't go after you if you didn't have medical insurance. With this group here, that clause is different, and they will go after you if you don't have medical insurance. You're going to pay it.
Thank you.
Does that answer you?
Yes.
But again, as long as you're here in McNair County, they transport you from McNair County. Your citizen, helicopter rides covered with what?
If you got insurance. They're going to take your insurance, basically. They're going to take your insurance, whatever your insurance pays. If you don't have insurance, they're going to do just Medicare rate.
They will be, if you got insurance, they will bill your insurance or Medicare to see what they can get out of it. But if you don't have either one, you won't be paying.
It's the same plan we've had, like I said, for years. Only difference is that clause, if the covered individual is transported, is uninsured at the time of transport, hospital wing will bill the covered individual at the Medicare allowable rate for transport. That's the difference.
Motion approved.
Here, second? Second. All in favor, say aye. Motion carried. We'll bring that before the full commission for approval.
We would have been there, man, carrying that one. Who was that?
I make a motion.
David second. Bring it unanimous.
Yeah, we can, all right, guys. I guess the next thing on the list will be,
Little economic development thing. Next thing on the agenda.
let's see. Promissory.
This is the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
This is the same thing that y'all approved at the last county commission meeting, right here, in this package. The only difference is it has the dates and everything that you all asked about the other day that Greg didn't have or couldn't give you. And it also says that it's up to $2 million. In other words, if we get those other two grants, anything that we needed from this we could use, but you don't have to take the whole $2 million. It says up to $2 million, which that's what this other one said too. Just to be clear about that, it's not like you're borrowing $2 million, you're borrowing whatever you have to have for $2 million if we don't get in the way of grants.
Now, this only goes toward the purchase of
Well,
equipment, right?
No, the money you borrow, if you borrow the money, you can spend it on whatever you want to.
Right.
The grant for the equipment won't pay for leasing equipment, it'll pay for only buying equipment, purchase equipment.
And the lease, grants. How much?
It could be $1 million, I don't know how much it'll be, and it's up to $1 million, the DRA grant is up to $1 million.
But the loan that we passed, or that they passed other than that, commission meeting, is up to $2 million for
That's what this
TDA.
is,
Yeah.
that's what this is.
Larry, give me some numbers.
And this, Philip talked about this a little bit the other day, and something that he didn't understand, I don't think, and maybe I didn't make real clear, is it's zero interest. And the reason this is here is we could take money from fund balance, like we talked about. But if you take money from fund balance, you're gonna lose the 4.5% interest that we're gaining on the money. It's silly not to take zero interest money that's available like this, instead of take money from fund balance.
Well, that's right. If, and I say if, because from what I know currently, I'm not sure that purchasing
Well, it
would
might
be the
not be.
right way to go. But if it is,
This we can do either one we want to do, with whatever we want to use of that. And there's plenty of that other equipment. In other words, if we end up getting $500,000 of that $1 billion, there's $2.1 million of equipment. So you could use the grant to purchase what you wanted to purchase that we got to buy. And then you can use this to do what you're talking about.
I think,
Just put us in a position, put us in the driver's seat, do whatever we want.
and yeah, I understood that, but again, I would say before we go any further with purchasing or anything like it,
Well, that's on down the road, that's on down the road anyway.
have some, input, and I'd like to see I'd like to have a lease, and a purchase, and talk to some other people that, know more than I am, especially.
I mean,
Now, I understand that they got different areas, but, different salesmen, somebody ought to be able to come
He'll probably have for him by Monday. I told him yesterday that I needed to get that done.
I'd like for him to come before the committee anyway, and like I said, I talked to Dr. King, and, he regrets he couldn't be here tonight, but he had prior engagements. But he's very interested in what's going on also, and would be, he's interested in helping the county and everybody go down the right path, and at least give us an understanding and point us in the right direction, you know, that, for answers anyway, so. Maybe when next meeting, we can get somebody here to kind of answer some of the questions we may have on all that. But I am
Yeah, we
just,
got some time on that, and I'm ready to do that. We need to get hard out what we want to do.
Mayor, the question I've got is that again, I go back to the original figure, which was, if I'm not mistaken, there's 799,000 was a deficit originally, and then it went to about 1.2, and then I think then it was the possibility. And again, these are potentials. The issue that I have is that we're going to borrow up to $2 million, but we don't know what that figure is, and we don't really know what's going to dictate that as far as the money. I totally understand about the interest. I understand about what the debt services. I understand what the monies are doing, and
We get that. It's $2 million if you don't get any more money, it's $2 million.
right. We don't know the grant amounts to the penny either.
We don't know how much you're gonna get when you apply, for sure.
like I said, the grant's not going toward purchasing. I mean, not going toward leasing.
Right.
Toward purchasing, not leasing.
Right.
But if it's, I can take $500,000, might want to decide to pull out a year.
Well, that's going to lead me to my next question.
Here's what I came on the other night or the other day, and then that's expecting nothing. Of course, that's zeroed out over there.
Right.
So that's, if you don't get anything, the $2 million basically would do what we're talking about doing. Anyway, if you don't get any of the $215,000 or the $1 million, you still would be, okay, that's what we're showing right there. But we're gonna get some of that, I'm sure, but I don't have much. That makes sense?
Yes, sir, it does. Well, let me ask this question. I want you to, if you can, make it very clear, because if you borrow $2 million, and I understand that we're going to use what we're currently using for our ambulance service, basically it's going to pay back. Is that correct?
That's right.
Now, that's all contingent on Operations 101 continuing right on down the road. I have a concern that a 60-day notification, and I've got a $2 million loan. That concerns me. I mean, I'm just brutally honest. That's what concerns me about borrowing $2 million. And if it's 3 years down the road, we got to, if I read the numbers right here, it's 108 payments.
That's right.
You know, that's a ways down the road, and having a shortfall, you know, at that kind of, it's, you know, it's a monthly installment is what it's going to be, but you got 108 of those, and you're 40, 50, 60, you know, in it, where's that going to come from?
Well, your $219,000 you're currently paying for your ambulance service now. Of course, you know, if just say, worst case scenario, you close the ER up.
Right.
You still have an ambulance service, and we still get somebody to come in and operate it. So if it operated at zero impact to the county, you'd still have that. And like I said the other night, this is gonna go up. They told us last year, they were gonna go up last year. It's gonna go up again, you know, this coming year, so.
So we've got that ambulance fee, I'm gonna call it an ambulance fee. It's been budgeted, and it will continue to be budgeted. Is that correct?
That's right.
That's what I needed to hear.
And then when and here's the skinny on the $125,000, if we use that $125,000 that we're currently paying on the PEC building
Right?
for the service agreement on the equipment, the three pieces that we talked about,
Right.
that likes $2,516.32 paying that.
Right.
But I want you to understand that there's gonna be 2 years of that, unless PEC decides to forgive that, there'll be 2 years of that, we'd have to pay a debt service payment. You know, I want everybody to understand, that's what I'm saying, there's 2 more payments on that building.
That annual.
So,
So where is
Hadn't
it?
got back to us on if he's
but we're gonna
going
be, if you look at this, see, this is a 10-year note, but it's paid back in 9 years. So we're expecting, when we're looking at payment a year down the road, so really you could expect one $125,000 payment to have to come from debt service.
Do you have a status on the Pickwick Electric building, on the annex building?
Do I think they're gonna do that? I don't think they're gonna give us that. I don't think they are.
Okay.
That's my hope, but I do not believe that. That's why I'm telling you, just give me on this. I don't think they're going to.
Now that you brought up the ambulance, we need to be looking at, or something else we need to be looking at and starting pretty soon on what we're gonna do
I agree. We'll be ready.
with the ambulance, so we'll be ready, won't need to be sitting there with it.
And what we're waiting on there is that $1.8 million, the Department of Health. You know, that's
Have we discussed, has anybody discussed the ambulance? Was Magnolia willing to take that on?
we've had more than one conversation about that. We've had several conversations about that. In fact, we talked about it this weekend.
Well, I would like to hear it myself, because I've been told that they was not gonna do that.
Where'd you hear that
Pretty reliable source,
from?
Magnolia.
And then I had a conversation with Terry Plum, as I told you about the equipment, and we talked about the ambulance again. I don't know what that was, one other week, probably Tuesday, not what he said.
Magnolia had a meeting last week, and that question was asked, was they gonna do the ambulance service in Marion County? And their answer was no.
I hadn't heard that, they've got a dinner tonight, I went down there, but I didn't say no.
So, and I mean, not he said, she said type stuff, I would like
Well, I agree with that.
to hear it, I mean, for everybody, so we can start planning
But
it.
that's not what Jim Hobson indicated when he was up here and met with us in the courtroom. That's not what he indicated either.
So was that their board that met, Keith?
Do what now?
Was it Magnolia's board that met and said that?
It was, yeah, it was a board meeting.
That was discussed in the board meeting?
Well, I'll say this, 2 weeks ago, I had a conversation with Paige Wally because this, and their ambulance director wanted to talk to, and I don't remember his name now, but he called me because we kind of had the same issue to a certain degree that we had about them sending physicians over the county line. And we got that resolved in-house, so to speak.
And that's what I say, they may have intentions, it just may be something that's holding them back, or don't know, or we may have to clear up, or
Yeah, but we
vice
got,
versa.
we got that worked out, you know, where they could do that, where they could send their ambulance attendants over to Tennessee.
How recent was that board meeting?
Do what?
How recent was that, last week?
Yeah. Yeah, last week.
I'll find out tomorrow and let you know, but the deal with this is, we got, if we're gonna go forward with this, you know, we already approved it at the last county commission meeting, and whether we use it or not, we can turn it back.
That's right.
But the time frame is, we need to get this done so that that will be completed and get that out of the way so that we get that money locked in and tied up.
Was that not what we done last month? Or last week?
We did, but again, what I'm giving you here tonight has got the dates and figure on it. And Craig asked me to get y'all to approve. It's the same thing. See where that one's going? It's the same thing, but it just has all the dates and everything on it, the new one does,
So he's asking us to approve it again.
with the numbers and stuff that's on it there, yes, sir. Yes. And then we'll have to get the budget committee to meet and approve it too, and the full commission approve it again Monday night.
Larry, has the contract already been established and signed?
Yes,
The 60-day contract agreement notification for separation,
it was signed May 18th when y'all approved it.
yeah.
All signed and completed.
It is a little troubling, and
It just,
We
it's
gotta-
it just,
Some point, we gotta trust it's gonna work out, but
It'll work out.
I wish I could vote with this with understanding what the grant amounts were gonna be, and, you know, if we've got approval on it.
Is there a timeline on when this,
I think it's January the 14th, I believe the date that I read.
yeah, we gotta get this out of the way, so we'll have that locked in place. Are they gonna turn that money into something else?
I think we need to go ahead and do this, get the money locked in. If we don't use it,
but again, it's just, it's.
All right, so let me ask this question.
but we got a year before we start
If-
making payments.
If you get the approval and it passes full commission, before a $1 is spent out of there, will it have to be approved or not
Yes,
by the full commission again?
yes, because what you're talking about, that's like you hadn't approved the bids on the building yet either, that'll have to be brought back and have to be approved, and then every piece of equipment that's bought will have to be brought back to the budget committee, and, well, the usual process we go through, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We won't be able to spend a penny of it.
Without approval.
Yep. The engineering, as far as I know, is complete, and that's the only thing that we spent any money on really up to this point.
Right.
And we used ARPA money for that, you know, and y'all approved that, but, you know, there won't be anything done on anything until it's brought back to the full commission and voted on and approved. Whether it's equipment bought, leased,
Now,
or
this-
the building.
The loan money here can go towards leasing, if
Can.
so needed.
That's right, and then you can use other.
The grant money cannot.
That's right, it can go toward the, I call loose items like this chair.
Purchasing equipment.
You got
They don't specify any type.
You got ventilators, you got those infusion machines.
I don't know if this is the time and place to talk about it, lease versus purchase. I don't know that it is, but we've used those terms pretty loosely about where money can and can't go, and it seems like there's an either or. I really believe, I really wish I knew. I really wish I knew.
Well, I've asked a question, you know, I brought it up last week, and I've asked a question, and like I was telling Keith, their issue with it, one salesman in Tennessee and one in Mississippi, and get that settled, but he said he'd have it for me by Monday night, so I should have an information for you.
But can we get someone here, a representative, over the lease or over purchasing, somebody that can tell us? And it should be the salesman, one of the salesmen that's representing Magnolia now probably. Can we get them here to ask any questions that we may have?
I'll try, I'll do my best to. First, we'll have to post and advertise a meeting for 2 weeks, you know, and like we have to, like required by law, but yeah, I'll try to. And we can get Magnolia to come. I told you what Magnolia told me, that they've had their CT scanner since 2013, all three of them since 2013. And they upgrade, that's what their service contract is for the software upgrades. And he said that's where the issue was for those, if you didn't keep them upgraded.
And speaking about Magnolia coming, I mean, there's some questions I think we need to ask them as far as ambulance and all that stuff too. That'd be.
They haven't told me anything any different than what we had, and like I said, I talked to Terry Tuesday, and I think he told me.
And just see what the best route to go, you know. I think we'd be doing our due diligence anyway.
Right. Well, I agree with that. I don't think we probably get anybody here we can.
Larry, when do you think we get approval on those grants?
It'll probably be March on that DRA money. But we won't need it because we'll be in construction anyway, so we've got some time on that.
And again, just to clarify, this loan is there if we need it.
You don't need it.
If we don't, it's
Start
not
it back, and that's why it says up to.
0%.
It says up to. If you end up needing $1 million or $2 million, you take $1 million.
Right.
If you need 700,000, you take 700,000. And then these numbers, obviously the number each year is based on 2 million, so the number will reduce accordingly to the payment.
Larry, it's still not clear to me, and maybe I'm missing it, but I'm struggling with, if there's a separation, and you're gonna have an ambulance service fee, that you're saying that you're gonna be able to use that as a payment method to go toward this. And if they go away, you're gonna use the 219 and above, because we anticipate an increase. That 219,000 plus is then gonna go back to strictly what you've got to put in ambulance service. But am I not wrong that you're still gonna have a debt hanging there?
You know, I don't know, the $219,000 is paying for the administrative upcharge for the ambulance service that West Tennessee Healthcare provides for.
Currently.
It's paying for extra administrative costs, like the dispatching, like we talked about before. We don't dispatch our own ambulances in Manatee County, they're dispatched out of Jackson.
Right.
And that's kind of some of what, as I understand it, but it's administrative cost is what that extra is costing us. So,
If we do our own or go with Magnolia does come in with ambulance, what's gonna be the administrative cost? We're going to pay something somewhere.
I don't think so. I think they're gonna do the same thing.
Because how much,
You're
how much we
getting
fund?
off the subject right here. My question is this: you're gonna borrow up to $2 million. The payment that you're gonna put toward that is what you're currently using toward your ambulance service right now, and administrative fees or whatever it's gonna be. If you sever this contract, you're gonna have to go back to the 219 plus for an ambulance service, and now you've got a $2 million up to $2 million, or maybe it may be $1 million, maybe whatever. That's where I'm trying to go here, is you're gonna allocate that money going back. How are you going to how are you gonna fund up to $2 million of debt that you might have to incur? That's my question.
Well, if worst case scenario come, we'd have to pay it. You would have to pay it, but
I understand that. That's what concerns me, Larry.
I get that, I
Hold on
understand
that.
that. I don't have all the answers to this either. I've done my due diligence.
I want the ER. I'm telling you, I want this ER. As bad as it appears sometimes, I think there's some good for our community. I really do. But I'm also concerned about the financial impact and the obligation that we're going to be facing. And we don't have the numbers in front of me. I don't have the grant numbers. I don't have the equipment costs. I don't have to a point of what monies it's going to require to be able to operate this ER. That puts me in a position of question mark when I'm talking about obligating McNairy County for a $2 million loan. I want the thing, but I can't find that final piece. I'm looking for another piece there as to how we're going to fund this. What does it, hypothetically, where is it going to put us, Larry? What if in 60 days, 3, 4 years, 5 years down the road, we're still making the payments? What are we going to do? What are we going to be faced with? I don't know how we're going to be able to, I would like to be able to answer that question, and I can't answer it, Larry. And that's what I'm hoping that I'll be able to understand. Can you help me with that?
I don't know more than what I've told you, Phil. If Magnolia comes in and operates CR, and if they do the same contract they've done on the building, you have to answer them that.
Yes, sir.
They're gonna come in and operate that at zero cost to the county.
Right?
And it's been my indication with them that they plan to do the same thing with ambulance service. So if they come in and do the same thing with ambulance service, then we'll be home free.
Do we have that in writing though?
I don't have that in writing. I told y'all before, Patricia, that the contract, they have not issued a contract because they've never done this. They want to get the ER up and running. As I've said, the entire way through, they want to get the ER up and operational and then do the ambulance service. In other words, there may be a year that we have, and that's one reason for this extra year, for this note like it is, to be structured as it is, there may be a year that we have to continue with West Tennessee Healthcare. But we're covered with that, with what we've got here. That's the purpose of that.
Is Magnolia gonna cover the bills that, when the patients don't pay, are they gonna cover those? There's,
You heard what he said in the courtroom that night. What he said exactly was, and y'all help me remember now, but as I remember what he said was, whether we treat them in Tennessee or we treat them in Mississippi, if we're gonna lose in Tennessee, we're gonna lose in Mississippi. He said, we're gonna treat your patients, we're in this for the long haul, was what he told us. He said, we want to make this work. We want to make this work for both Magnolia and Magnet County. We want a footprint in Magnet County. That's what the man sat there and said to, when I called that meeting for the entire county commission, for you guys to ask all the questions you wanted to ask of him and get clarity on everything. That is exactly what he sat there and said. And I don't know of any of that has changed at this point. Again, y'all approved the contract, we signed the contract for the building, the operation of the building, exactly like he said it would.
I didn't see anything in the contract that said that they would agree to pick up those that didn't pay. And from talking with
But
people
you
out in the
don't-
community, I mean, the healthcare professionals, that's one thing that they brought up to me.
But how's it gonna charge us if it doesn't cost us anything for them to operate the building? We're
I
gonna-
just like to see that in writing, you know, that they're gonna take care
Well,
of all
it
that.
says in the contract right here, it's no cost to Magnet County. They're gonna provide the service, they're gonna provide 45 medical professionals to operate this ER for us at no cost to Magnet County. That's what it says.
Well, yes and no. It is gonna cost us, we're talking about $2 million.
No, I agree with that.
So it is gonna cost, there is a cost to
I agree
Magnet
with that,
County.
but
Yeah.
it's still a whole lot better deal than we ever dreamed it would.
But operational cost, everyday cost and all that is,
I've worked on this for 6 years, folks. I've talked to, and it's been said that I hadn't talked to any medical professionals, which is absolutely a lie. It's not true. I cannot start to tell you how many that I've talked to, from the Commissioner of Health. We went through 2 Commissioners of Health with this now. From them all the way through, from Braden Health to West Tennessee Healthcare and Magnolia and others that I won't mention. But anyway, we've had conversations with everyone, and you're not gonna get no better deal than we got on the table. I can guarantee you that. We're not gonna get any better deal than we got right here. If we wanna do this, we're gonna have to move on it, we're gonna have to do it, and we're gonna step out on faith.
well, I mean, it's kinda like you said. This I didn't involve we. So we are just now getting involved in it really,
But you
no one's
can't-
trying to find out everything, because we are the ones that's gotta make the decisions for McNairy County.
There's been 6 years of time putting this, and
I
I
understand.
can't tell you how many.
I understand, but before I vote for something, I wanna make sure I know what I'm getting, so I can answer to the people.
You got the contract, Keith, and you know what it says. It says.
It says 60 days they can be out, because you know who they're ruled by? The county commission.
That's true, they've got a board and
They've got a board and they've got a county commission, just like we do. If they're losing any kind of money, guess what's gonna happen? They're gonna be gone.
Well,
And I don't wanna be sitting there holding a $2 million bag
I don't
if we
think-
buy or purchase equipment
The
after
problem
6
is,
months.
if you look at it like this, I don't be holding the bag either.
That's right.
But there's other people out there, they're not the only provider. And there's other people out there that's talked to me already about coming in and operating this for us. But Magnolia has stepped up to the plate. They paid for the CON.
I understand.
They paid for 2 extensions on the CON, and countless hours that they put into this, with me trying to get the laws changed and everything so that we can make this work for them. So,
Yeah, and I'm not trying to dismiss anything that Philip or you brought to the table. Definitely understand those concerns. But there's a couple of things that we need to think about as well. Companies don't want to come in here if there's no sort of medical facility. That's huge. And if we want to talk about economic development, this is a piece of that puzzle. I mean, am I wrong?
100%.
Is that?
I don't dispute that, Terry.
So I guess my point is that there's got to be a balance here. And again, not to dismiss listen, I've been in business for 25 years. Completely understand.
Well, believe me, I'm not against an ER.
And we've taken a lot of risks. And this is what you have to do. This, $2 million is a lot of money.
But you gotta know where you at here, and you gotta know where you at here.
Don't
to make-
disagree
To
with
make
you.
that balance. And that's what we're trying to figure, that's what we're trying to get to.
Terry, I don't think you would go $2 million in debt without a pretty good little plan. At least on the
I
liability.
have zero contracts with any of my customers. Never have.
Again, if you were going $2 million in debt, I
I'm
would bet you
over,
have.
I'm more than 2 million in debt.
You probably got a payment plan, or you've got some strategic financing, or, you know, whatever.
We're working every day.
I get it.
We're working
I get
every
it.
day and doing what we said that we would do. and-
My focus, Terry, and I appreciate that, and I'm gonna tell you, I do believe that. I do believe it's a vital piece, but it's gonna be a shell shocker if we've got a payment and we don't have anybody out there.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Okay,
I don't disagree.
it's, the 60 days kind of brings the light to that, okay? If that was a year, I'd feel a little better, you know? They told me they would guarantee me to be here 5, 6 years, I'd feel a whole lot better about it, but I don't have that.
Sure.
So,
We
you know,
got
if we're
60
in the
days
days of contracts, you know, if we're gonna talk about contracts, and we're gonna talk about obligations, and we're gonna talk about the benefit, and you're exactly right. Economic development, let's talk about economic development for McNair County, as far as local government's concerned. $2 million's a lot. $2 million's a lot.
Absolutely. I don't disagree.
Well, and that's too, where we're talking about, we're trying to do the right thing, I
Sure,
think,
absolutely.
by getting the people here, representatives here, so we can ask those questions and find
And
out.
I agree with
and
that,
do our due
but I
diligence.
just wanted to throw that in there so we didn't lose that piece of the puzzle.
Oh, no, of course, it's been there. It's been there.
Well, I know, but I just wanted to throw it out there on the
The
table.
DRA grant.
But what we're trying to do here tonight has, not disregarding or trying to rush through anything, but this doesn't really have anything to do with us actually spending the money right now.
You're
So we
right.
do have the time
You're right.
to get the appropriate
Right.
officials from the board at Magnolia, the people that we're trying to lease or purchase the equipment from, and whoever else we want to talk to. I agree, we need every one of them up here.
Yeah, I mean,
This
this,
doesn't tie us to.
this doesn't tie to anything, it's just, it just opens us up to, hey, it's there if we need,
Right.
if we wanna use it. I get that, and that's,
I know that we're probably gonna be somewhere north of 800,000 minimum with the grants. So, you know, that realistically, it could be 8 to $1 million.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
so with that, I hear any motion,
I make a motion to approve this grant,
Promissory note.
promissory note.
I hear a second, anybody?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed?
Opposed?
3-2.
Do what?
3. There's 3.
You got a color?
Yeah. Terry,
Yes.
Tricia,
No,
keep up with it. And this gotta be done by 18th,
Yep.
January,
I think it's the 14th.
14th, I mean. Philip?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm, think about this, I want to, you know, I've got concerns like y'all got, you know,
Yeah, I voted, yeah.
okay. I just want to make a statement about it. The thing was, you know, we got to have the faith that it's going to work. And now we have nothing, and it's the best opportunity we have. We put a lot of political capital in the state getting this in. And if we don't follow through with a lot of this stuff, if we try to get them to do something special as far as dealing, we may not even get, we may not get the help we need next time. With the state making agreements with the law, unless they start changing laws. But I haven't run into anybody that don't want an ER.
No, this is
I
one
get
thing
more
people-
questions about when it's going to open, when we're going to start. That's all I get. So that's the reason.
The devil's in the details.
I agree, we got time on the details.
I understand where we're going with this. I understand it's just, opening up to availability, basically. January the 14th is the deadline. We'll have another commission meeting before then. Before January 14th.
I don't know, man, I don't know.
Should.
You got the 6th and the 13th. So you got 2 Monday nights, you could have it on 13th.
But this has got to all be done and ratified by USDA, and this is not one simple signature. There's a lot of people involved in that deal, and so it needs to be approved.
And it's got to come before us again for 1 penny is approved.
Yeah,
On
100%.
That's on
I can't
anything.
spend any of it.
We have to approve any construction contracts, purchases, and agreements.
All this is locking the money in, the free money, the free interest. All this is.
And if we miss the deadline, the money's gone.
Yep.
Well, not knowing exactly what we're gonna need, and how much and all that.
You got all that? Right there. Where we're, in the code, I gave you last meeting. That's the exact estimate on the equipment in the building. That's what it costs to do the renovation of the building, every piece of it.
I'm talking about using this phone for.
Well, you want to, until we get the DRA grant, the jobs, the 45 jobs, those jobs kind of dictate a lot of how much money you get. It's part of the same money that Monogram got, IDB got the Monogram and for the Project Horizon. So there's gonna be money tied to it. Now, I don't know how much, and there's not a formula for that. They look at each project separately. And the other piece of this, guys, is too, and I've already talked to Ron and Paige, and the chancellor told me out of his own mouth, if we would come up with part of, he didn't say half of or part of, the $800,000 to put the nursing program in at our UT Center in Selma, that the chancellor told me himself that he would get that project done for us. Not come up with 800,000, come up with some other part of it. And I made that ask this year. But my point is, those 200 students that run through that UT campus can come right here to to our ER and train in McNair County and not have to go to Jackson or Orange or anywhere else. So it's got a whole lot longer reach than just simply an ER. There's a lot more to this than just that.
So we'll take it to the full commission.
Yeah, let me know.
We're still not gonna pass tonight. Gonna be 3-3.
If you vote no, it's 3-3. You vote yes, it passes.
We'll take it for the full commission.
Yeah. Thank you.
Did you vote?
That's,
Did you vote yes?
for the simple fact that it can't be used unless we say it is.
Yeah, that's true of anything like that, though, yeah.
And if you don't use it, you don't owe nothing.
They can't charge any interest of their money.
Yeah. All right. So that's a two main thing, or the two first things off the agenda. Next thing. These fire tanks, fire trucks. Guys, y'all, this has gone crazy, just to be honest. Never saw nothing like it. And why? I don't know. But, so help me understand. So we got two tankers that's, we declared surplus, right? That true so far?
I got two tankers that I'm not using right now, no.
Right, that we was gonna give, come before the full commission, to give them to, one to Hornsby, one to Anvil, right? Am I correct in saying that? Hornsby and Anvil?
They were classified and voted on as surplus, is that
That's
correct?
We never voted on making them surplus. They were proposed to be surplus. We never actually voted to do either. Remember, it was tabled.
Surplus side? I thought they had to go to surplus before they can be given
You had
away.
you had to declare them, you had to vote to be surplus. We didn't take a vote on it. We didn't approve them being surplus.
Well, the vote that night in the full commission was, what, do we want to give them away, basically to
We didn't vote.
Hornsby? I know we didn't take that vote.
Right. We didn't take a vote at the committee meeting either.
No, we didn't have to, no.
Before they could be given
They have to
or
be declared
donated,
surplus.
they have to be identified as surplus.
And then they had to be approved by the commission.
Full commission?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what we've always done on the highway department stuff. It's always, he make it to the committee, then the whole commission will have to vote on it.
Okay, all right, so, with that being said, we got two tankers that we was gonna give to Hornsby and Anvil, is that right? Correct? No stipulations, no nothing.
I'm
Hey,
sorry.
they're gonna help us out with fire calls, right?
With stipulations that they have to keep them there and that they would come back and help us with automatic aid in Marion County.
Right.
And maintain them as they were, keep them in maintenance.
If it's surplus, you can't do that, y'all. If that item is surplus, it's gone.
Technically, if you get surplus, you go sell it. What we used to do in the highway department.
Yeah, there's,
We'd always auction them off.
that's my point. If it's surplus, we're giving them away, there's no stipulations.
Well, there was stipulations in the agreement that they had.
Well, not for the fire trucks itself, because again, you can't say that and declare them surplus and give them away and have stipulations on the equipment. Now, you can draw up a contract or something saying, hey, you can help us out with fire calls, if we're gonna give you this pending you help us out with fire calls. But any stipulation to that truck is surplus.
It doesn't belong to McNair County.
That's right.
It's surplus.
So, that was with the understanding, at the first, I'm just getting a rundown where we're at. That was with the understanding that everybody in the county had been asked if they needed it. Am I right in saying that? That's the way I understood it. Everybody was asked,
That's the way I understood it, but not all of them responded.
not all of them responded. Come to find out, some didn't, some said they didn't receive any correspondence saying that, so brings us to last Emergency Services Committee meeting where we said, well, okay, so we're gonna give everybody, we're gonna make sure, copy me on the emails, and you done that, Steve. Thank you. We had Eastview and Selmer that was interested in the fire trucks, right? Selmer and Eastview responded with emails. That, hey, I need it. But there were more stipulations added once we found out somebody in the county needed them. Am I wrong in saying that? Well, the email I got, there was more stipulations, and you signed off on saying the stipulations was there. There's more stipulations, and if we're gonna give them to somebody inside the county versus if we was gonna give them to Hornsby and Enfield. But again, surplus, can't be no stipulations. Now, guys, I don't know what we're doing. I really don't know. I mean, it's got us put in a predicament. Now we get a thing today saying, hey, we really don't need to get rid of these, you know.
I don't know what it says. It says that he asked the ISO representative and he asked the CTAS representative for their opinion, and they told him that they would like to come in and do the evaluation of the county before we did anything with the trucks.
Well, why was we willing to give away to Hornsby and Anvil without anything?
I don't dispute that.
You know, we put the cart before the horse, or what? I mean, what are we doing? Why are we willing to give it to somebody outside the county and we ain't willing to help our own people inside the county?
It's not that you're not willing to help the people inside.
Well, that's what all this correspondence is really saying, is what it is, because we're coming up with anything we can grasp to keep from giving it to somebody else in the county that may need it. That's what it's looking
I
like.
suggested that he call these guys and have a conversation and see if there was any benefit for us keeping those trucks.
Well, they should have been done
I don't
before.
argue that, Keith, but you
Before.
don't always think about all that on the front end. I've got more to think about.
If we'd have voted that night in the county commission meeting, in the full commission meeting, these trucks would have been gone. They'd have been gone.
I don't argue that. And they would have helped us with our ISO rating when we need water out in the county. They would have done exactly what we asked for them to be done with.
There's an agreement wrote up saying that they would respond.
Yeah.
We had that agreement.
He has an agreement with us.
That was all in the agreement that they would write one. If they was gonna get a truck, they were gonna. I don't know, I don't know all the legal aspects, but, I don't disagree with one bit what Guy said about surplus. I'm sorry, I'm not educated enough about that surplus, so I'll backtrack that part. If they have to be surplus, and then you have no ties to them, I'm not arguing that point tonight. I would just like to say this, and it's very difficult for me. I watch Wayne Whitten's YouTube video. So I got to go back and watch that a couple times through and thoroughly educate myself, what everybody was saying, including myself. And didn't like everything I said either. And just for my 6 years of being here as a county fire chief and being in the fire service for 41 years, and just for instance, and I'm just gonna lay a little bit out, and I'm not gonna talk like I did the other night. I'm gonna say it one time, I'm gonna be done. I've been in it for 41 years, since I'm 17 years old. You can come up to Fanger any day you want, and I would like to show you an operation. I'd like to show you an operation that is a good operation that is working very effective for 41 years. And we have a $1 million station there. We have 6 trucks there. We run Homeland Security for McNairy County, search and rescue for District 10 out of that station. We also have a well-managed department there. We do not have trucks that are in disarray, tore down, and we don't have near the resources in McNairy County and some of the municipalities that the cities are here in McNairy County. Fanger is made of about 220 people, I think, roughly in the census in the city of Fanger. And I would like to show you what we got and how we manage it. In return, in the last 6 years since I've been here, we went, well, I feel like 11 stations, and we had 11 departments. We come in here, not me, we came in here with the support of you all, and we tried to build a family department. We wanted to have one department, 11 stations. We added the 12 station in Selmer to assist our station outside, so now we got 12 stations. We have trucks in every one of them stations, well managed. We do maintenance on them. They're not broke down every day of the week. Yeah, I'll take you to every station and I can show you our operations run very smoothly, very effectively. And when I have these trucks that I call surplus, which God corrected me on that, I take that correction. I didn't do it that correctly. We had 2 extra trucks. Let's just call them extra truck. Due to the grants that we got here with you all helping me. And we got 5 new trucks. So I had a couple trucks to play with. I looked at the whole operation just like I did in Bangor for the last 40 years. And I looked, where do I need them so they can come back and help me in McNairy County residents. Come back and help us. Immediate need. That they can tell me, okay, this, they'll sit down and they'll, Chief Hornsby was here a minute ago, I don't know where it was. Dustin was here. They sit down and tell me exactly what's broke down, why they need the truck, where they're going to place it, and how it's going to come back and affect McNairy County. And that's the same way Parker Herndon did from Enville, and sat down with me and told me that. I reached out to the cities, just like I told you the last month. I told you I reached out to everybody. I did. Not everybody called me back. This time we reached out by email, Keith. All of them answered except 2. Did not get returns from 2 of them. That was Stantonville and Adamsville. And Finger didn't, but I'm here to reflect Finger's voice. Everybody else gave us a no. And Eastview said that they had to think a truck down, but it's not down now. And underneath the stipulations, they're not interested. And Anthony said he has, I think, 3 trucks down. He would like it, but not underneath the stipulation. And the reason I'm putting those stipulations in, because I need people to come tell me their need, sit down and tell me how it's going to fit in their operation. You can say no, but Chief Stowe is going to stay on that because we have to know how these tankers are going to come back and help McNairy County citizens. Yes, I want to help Selma. I'm glad to help Selma. I want to help Selma. But I've asked him 3 times to sit down to me. He has to this day not called me or sat down and told me how it will fit in his operation, what truck it will replace, where are you going to house it, how is it going to come back and affect me when I need it. Okay? I have no communications. Neither has Elvis done that. And so I'm telling you, Chief Stowe has reached out. Not only did I do that, I went up in Fanger, I said, Cody Moss, Mayor, I said, you know what? Let's help McNairy County out. Let's give it our grant status. We don't need it. We're well managed up there in Fanger. Let's give our grant status to McNairy County. And we did. We come back to the little town of Fanger and got a $350,000 grant to put another truck at Leapoint. Steve is about McNairy County. I have breathed it. I have looked at it. I've lived it. I studied that tape, Wayne, hours that was on there. And I still do not believe that people are making a legit need for that tanker. Now that's my opinion. And now that's for you to decide. I'm telling you, as a chief of McNairy County, I am convinced there's not a need in this county yet made by them chiefs. Now, if they come to me, maybe they can convince me. Maybe tonight they'll convince you and you guys will do whatever you decide to do. It's up to you. But I'm telling you, I don't understand how, like I told Rainey the other day, he said they need one in Mickey. I said, no, you don't. Y'all said, well, it's your word against whose word? Well, guess what? Look at the email and look whose word is true. Look at the email and see who said the truth that night. Steve Stowe said the truth that night. Every one of them will verify that what I said and who I called will verify that night that I said the truth. Now I'm speaking the truth tonight. Absolutely speaking the truth. I have nothing against nobody. I want to reach out to everybody, but I'm not interested in a bunch of misinformation and just a bunch of confusion and not working with each other. We have to work together. I have put out to do it, and I'm going to lay it in your hands. These trucks will serve McNairy County in my way I viewed it in Hornsby and Enville. But now I'm willing to go beyond my own thinking and bring in professionals to come and survey this county and tell me, Steve, you are wrong. And that's why that letter is there. I'm willing to bring in other people that are not part of this group and that will have no bias of any kind and tell me, Steve, you're right or you're wrong. And that's what I'm asking the commission to do. Give me that time, let that study be done now. Because I believe I'm right. Some people believe I'm wrong. So let's get the third party involved. Now, that's how I feel. Any question you want to ask me, I will answer it to the best of my ability. I don't know the law as good as Guy does here. I don't know as good as you guys do. I acknowledge that. But I can tell you, I am not pulling your leg. I am being straightforward, honest with McNairy County. And if I cannot run McNairy County Fire Departments the way I think it needs to be run, then Steve needs to step aside and somebody else needs to take my place. That's just bottom line. I cannot operate handicapped.
Steve, you talk about being vested in McNairy County and talk about the communication issue that we had the last time. The way I see this, we have another communication problem. Now, I don't choose right or wrong. I don't dispute your passion, but I have a problem. I have a problem with post stipulations inside McNairy County. I got a serious problem with that. It looks bad, Steve. It looks real bad. Okay? Now you're asking me to make a decision whether or not they have a legitimate need. They don't. But then, as it's been clarified, there was a need. There was a need brought inside the county for a particular issue, breakdowns or whatever it may be. I don't know the equipment information. I don't know the status, but here's what I do know. There was a need that was substantiated because of breakdowns and failures and whatever. And in my world, here's where I'm at, Steve. I don't know maintenance records. I don't know what hours. I don't know all those details, but I know this. All I want to make sure of is that if we can't take those trucks with the same stipulations originally set up and give them to them departments and let them help the citizens of McNairy County without stipulations now, or now even the midnight hour, I've got a letter here that says you want to bring in some professionals. Steve, the communication, you didn't say that. You didn't tell us that. You said that it might help. There would be a possibility of ISO ratings or evaluation down the road, but you didn't mention that CTAS and ISO was going to be involved. So what you've asked me to do tonight is choose between you and your stipulations or whether or not they can or cannot have it without stipulations. That's what's happened here tonight. And that's what happened the night before. So I don't dispute your passion. You're a professional. You guys do a great job. But you see where I'm at. You see what I've got to face.
I feel like my track record here will tell you that I'm not giving misinformation out. There's a lot of misinformation.
Wait a minute, Steve, I dispute that. You didn't give me the information on the stipulations.
No, I'm telling you.
You didn't do that, Steve. Don't tell me that you didn't. The night you stood here, you did not tell me that. You did not clarify that them trucks, if surplus, would have stipulations, and we know that you can't do that to begin with. Now you're wanting to put stipulations on a truck that's going inside the county? It looks bad, Steve. Yes, sir.
I want to go back to something that you said just a moment ago. You quite mildly chastised Steve for coming in at the 11th hour with this request for time to do the study. My objections in all of this that's been going on for the last 6, maybe 7 months is the fact that the letter that you referred to in the last meeting was delivered at the 11th hour. Please don't sit there and shake your head. That letter was delivered at the 11th hour. The fact that we got all the way up to the full county commission meeting with this request and this proposal after 3 months of work in our department, and that included trying to contact these other municipalities and not getting word back. I will agree with every one of you up here. There's a serious communication problem here. But I'm going to tell you, this communication problem is not on our side of the fence. I'm going to stand here and tell you right now, I sat in that office on 2 separate occasions, and I watched Steve and I listened to the phone call where he called Anthony Carr and requested face-to-face meetings with him. The second time that he made that request was after Anthony Carr sent a request to Steve to outline, to give him a complete inventory of all the apparatus in our department. Now, we didn't understand why he would need that full inventory. But at the time the tankers were being discussed and where we were going to place them, Steve called Anthony and told him that if he would meet with him face to face, he'd be willing to discuss the apparatus, that inventory that he requested. And again, Anthony failed to meet with Steve. Now, the third request that Steve refers to, I wasn't present for that conversation, but I will attest to the 2 conversations that I just spoke about. Now, the point is, we got all the way to the county commission meeting with nobody ever saying a word about these tankers. We had made the arrangements with Enville and Hornsby, had the approval of this board, got to the commission meeting, only to find out that someone in the background had made a phone call. I'm going to assume, excuse me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to assume it was to you, Mr. Hollingsworth.
I did receive.
Okay.
I did receive 2 calls.
And those calls were to indicate that we didn't contact anybody in McNairy County about the need of, about these tankers' availability. And I'm going to say that that's untrue. And anybody wants to stand up and
I'll
accept
stand
me.
up on that.
Okay.
I was never contacted. Steve's got my phone number. He's got my email address. I didn't receive anything until I won with all the stipulations on it. I did get that come right in perfectly. But before that, y'all did not send me nothing. Steve Stoll hates me. He's not going to do anything for me. And it's vice versa.
Okay, that's fine. That's between you two. That's between you two.
But he didn't send me anything. I don't appreciate you standing there saying, everybody got it. You know that
To the best of my knowledge,
to the best of your knowledge.
Steve has made every attempt to contact every municipality.
He did not
Many of
contact
those
us.
did not call him back.
No, if you don't get it, you can't call him back.
Well,
That's-
we kind of
Let me
had
add
that.
that. Steve did call me twice. Both conversations never said, hey, we've got a surplus tanker, do you need it? The 2 conversations. Steve called me, but I was never told that. The only reason I found out about it, I got a copy of the county agenda. That's how I found out about it. And that's when I started making the phone calls on Friday evening when I received the agenda for Monday night.
So, the communication guys, we've established that.
Yes,
That's
sir.
what we done last,
Yes,
that's what we
sir.
done last month, right? That's the reason we said, hey, from now on, we're gonna email.
Well, it's just like, when he did send it out, you saw the stipulations on it.
And that's the
Who
thing.
would take it under those stipulations?
I understand that, and again, I think that's where the breakdown is. Steve, you may have not understood, you said yourself, you don't understand the laws and all that stuff. What it is.
About the surplus, as far as the need, and with that, I understand this operation 100%.
That's right. Yeah, and Steve, thank you for what you've done. You've done a great job, so thank you, first of all, for the job you've done for the county.
If I may, I'd like to address the stipulations that they're referring to, that were in that letter when we sent it out asking if anybody could justify the need for the tankers. Okay, and Steve, correct me if I'm wrong. But, Mr. Jernigan, you yourself sat here in the last meeting, at the tail end of the meeting, and made the proposal that we send out the letters requesting the municipalities to demonstrate a need for the tankers. But you also stipulated that until we get those back, those tankers were to remain here in McNairy County and could be loaned out at any time to anybody that needed them. They were welcome to come and get them, were your exact
That's
words.
right, inside the
Okay?
county.
Inside the county, correct. If anybody's welcome to come and get those tankers, as you stated, at any time, then we're gonna put stipulations. If you come get that tanker, and this all falls apart, and those tankers come back to us, we want them back in about the same condition. No, I'm not expecting you to go out and spend millions of dollars and make it like new. But if it's running when you come and get it, we expect it to be running when we get it back. Those
I don't think
stipulations,
anybody would expect any less, but.
those stipulations were put in that letter based on what you said at the tail end of the last meeting. We were just trying to protect the property that is McNairy County Fire Department's right now. We don't want somebody to come in and just get in that truck and drive it off and use it for their own purposes and then bring it back in a shambles, and it's no good to anybody. Now, Steve, if I'm wrong, correct me on that, please.
I listened to myself on the other day, and I said I would not repeat myself tonight, so I told you what I know, I told you what I want to do, I told you what's the best for McNairy County. I'm standing behind that, and I'm staying there.
Okay.
I'm not going to repeat.
So again, I think the breakdown was the trucks declared surplus or not. We either need them or we didn't. The trucks was gonna go outside the county. McNairy County, Hardeman County can't own that same truck. So that same truck was gonna have to be titled over in the Hardeman County for Hornsby to get it, right?
I understand that now. Yes.
So it would have to be a surplus.
I understand that now.
Once you give something away,
I got it, I got it.
you know, you can't say, hey, you can drive it 5 miles an hour, or
I got it, Keith.
no stipulations. So again, it seems like after somebody was interested in it in the county, all this stuff starts coming out. Hey, we may need it here, Steve, I understand what you're trying to do, brother, and I applaud you. You've done a great job. You are looking out for the county's interest, I understand that. But again, once it's declared surplus, we're done with that. So it come to the county commission to be voted on to give away. We didn't need them, we're saying we didn't need them, although it's going over to help, you know. So guys, to be honest, I don't know what the right thing to do here is. I know we've got 3 departments probably, inside the county that can use those tankers. Are the tankers running right now today? If I go get them right now, will they crank up, run, and go?
One will crank up and run right now, the other one probably needs a battery or two, but as far as,
Mechanically sound,
it
yes.
should be sound.
Because one of them is sitting in
Sulphur Spring,
Sulphur Spring,
that's true. And one's sitting out here.
the one in Sulphur Spring will not run.
I said it needs batteries. It's mechanically sound.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know, guys, what,
If you,
Just let me say one thing. Whatever your decision is tonight, that's fine. In 2010, I had a county truck loaned to me, and I put thousands of dollars in it. We used it 9 years. We shared it backwards and forwards. When the county truck come down, Darrell Goodrum come and got it and took it to the station. 9 years later, that truck was took from me. That's fine, no big deal. We got the tornado money, I got new trucks. Brindley Mountain does my work. They're one of the biggest power companies. They're down here right outside Decatur, Alabama. Their mechanics is EVT certified. I've got 3 trucks down. You've got a copy of the letter from them. Cards, it's hard to get for. I have located 2 trucks. Now, if I cannot get this tanker, Sherry can verify this. I went to Mike last week. He does our financial work and stuff. He sent a letter off to the comptroller's office to get okay for us to do a loan on 2 trucks. If we don't get this, he's gonna have to back up, and we're gonna have to buy 3 trucks. It's just, it's plain and simple. But I just want to remind you all that there's 10 incorporated cities that pays county property tax that has helped pay for these trucks over the years. And that's all I'm gonna say. Either you give us a truck or you don't. Either we're gonna buy, the city's gonna buy 2 trucks, or we're gonna buy 3 trucks. And I'm gonna have to send them and have them refurbed. I don't have access to CDBG grants because Chris has used them. I've never had access to one. If I did, I'd have done applied for one.
Anthony, will the city of Selma have to borrow money to do that?
Yeah, we're gonna have to, because buying older trucks, they're gonna have to be sent and be refurbed. I'm just not gonna buy a used truck and put it on the road. My two newest trucks is Internationals, that parts, 10 years, that's it. You've got the letter from Brindley Mac. They're going down the road one way or the other. And like I said, the third truck, I bidded it out when the motor went down. Brindley Mountain wanted $15,000. International wanted 12. There was a local mechanic that I thought was prominent, said he'd do it for $10,000. Come to find out, two things I asked him to do, he didn't do. So that one's down. So I took the truck back to him 3 different times. Had to pay him every time, so I'm not going back to him. So plain and simple, either we're gonna buy 2 trucks and y'all donate 1, or I'm gonna have to buy 3 trucks and have them refurbed.
Can you use both tankers?
Huh?
Can you use both tankers?
No.
Who's the other municipality? Is it Eastview or is it Mickey?
Really, right now, they don't need them. And if you'll see in that last letter, since it was a big rigmarole the last time, I agreed to take this tanker and put it at the North Station. And as long as my tanker is up, if Eastview has a truck go down, Mickey, Raymer, any of them, if they have a truck go down and my tanker's up, I'll loan it to them because we all have public entity partners insurance. We don't have to do nothing. Let me take this one step further. I called Deep South today, called 3 or 4 more companies. And I'm just gonna use this example. Larry said, you can have our CDBG 2 to 4 years to get a new truck.
And I'm just going to echo on behalf of Mickey, like Chief Carr said, yes, Steve has talked to my city fire chief, Tyler Wilson. Tyler's in the fire business, he's the fire chief, I trust his judgment. I do not like he stood up here and said I did not tell the truth last time because he talked to my fire chief relayed to him what my fire chief thinks our needs are. That's fine, that's his department, that's what he does. He is in the fire business. I'm not, I'm a fireman, yes. I have been for some time. But I also want to reiterate, the city of Finger is not the only people that have ever gave up grant eligibility for the county fire departments to get those trucks. The city of Mickey gave up our grant eligibility back 5 or 6 years ago to get either the first or second truck that came to McNair County that looks like that. So, with that being said, do we have a need for it in Mickey? Not really. Could we use one if it was close? Yes. And that's all I've got. That's why when my fire chief responded to him, that's what he told him, essentially, and when we saw those stipulations, there's just not a lot we can do with that, so.
I mean, there's one statement I want to correct. The county cannot spend property tax money on fire trucks. By state law, because the cities have their individual departments, we cannot use property tax money for fire protection. It has to come from other sources that are not tied, whether it's liquor taxes and other funding sources. The only tax that you can have to fund a fire department in the state of Tennessee for the county would be to set up a fire district and put a fire tax in on the areas you would cover, but it's not allowed to spend property taxes on purchasing for duplicating services on fire trucks, fire departments. And that came from one of the guys from the state, CTAS, that does fire management. It's called non-status taxes is what you have to use.
Steve, you said to lower the county's ISO rating. You're gonna give them one to Hornsby now to come and help out the county, right? Am I correct in that?
That's correct.
Is Selmer ever called out to the county to help the county in any situation?
Yes, sir.
So with Selmer, I don't understand that. Could Selmer respond the same way Hornsby would be responding and help our ISO?
Yes, sir.
I got a question.
What he's talking about is out in that area.
It's like me coming to your business, or Hollywood coming to his business. It's gonna be very hard for me to explain how ISO works or how this operation works over one evening. I could understand Hollywood's business probably in 2 years. I don't, maybe not 10 years, maybe I don't even have the IQ to ever understand it. But for me to sit here and tell you how ISO works and how works across this county, I couldn't do it tonight, and you're not gonna get it tonight, I can assure you. It's something you have to breathe and live for years and years.
And that's the
I have
reason I
breathed it. I know where these trucks need to go. I know what Selmer has. I know what ECU has. I know what Mickey has. I know what Raymer has. I know what Guys has. I know what Adamsville has. I know what Milledgeville has. I know what Fanger has. I know what we got here. I did not guess it. I know what's out there. So Steve is making a basis where these tankers need to go with the knowledge of knowing what is in the county. So I'm making a straightforward, honest, before God, a straightforward business move for McNairy County. I'm not looking to pad my pockets, pad anybody's pocket. I don't care if Selmer has a need for this tanker, and they could sit and he could come to my office like a gentleman and sit down today. I would promise you I would not have one word ill to say about Anthony. Sit down, tell me what truck is down, when it went down, why it's down, what's the problem that these trucks, no, I want to have a good discussion, and I want to know that. I can do that with all these other cities. But you know what? There's a couple of cities, I can do it with Tyler. Tyler will tell me. He'll tell me exactly what he needs. I can do it with everybody except 2 cities. And then he says a breakdown on me. No, it's not a breakdown on me. Steve has a good relationship with Hardin County, Chester County, Madison County, Eric Turner, Henderson County with Lynn Murphy. Steve has a great relationship with chief after chief after chief out here. And then he said, well, it's Steve's fault. Well, you guys are sitting here in the middle. Well, you can sit here in the middle. Ultimately, it's your decision. I'm going to live with it. But I'm going to tell you, as a county fire chief, I will not be a county fire chief being handicapped and going home, listening to this right here all night, listening to this stuff, and it's chaos. It's just totally chaos. And knowing that there's misinformation given to you guys, and you guys don't know it, but I know. And I know it for a fact. And I cannot prove it to you unless, well, I think I could prove it.
Let me ask you a question. Are the trucks protected tonight? It's 20 degrees tonight. Are the trucks protected?
Yes.
Okay.
I got my truck, all water, freeze, drain,
Where are they located right now?
everything's protected.
Where are
Yes.
they located?
One, I told you, one is in Salty Springs.
Yep.
In a heated building. One is outside, all water drain, all valves open, all pump drain, all ready for freeze. I take care of my equipment.
Sir,
My
I don't
equipment does not
understand.
freeze.
You're taking it way too far. I just want to know that they're indoors because that was,
Well, that's
as I
what I'm trying
understood
to tell
it.
you. The reason my trucks are not being broke down all the time, because Steve has a good maintenance program. I'm taking care of my equipment.
I don't dispute that, Chief. I don't. Don't take it that way. I just asked where they were located. I wanted to make sure that there wasn't a time-sensitive freeze hazard
I think I told
to
you.
McNairy
I had
County.
told Keith a few minutes ago where they were at.
I didn't hear that, and I've been sitting here listening. I don't appreciate you implying that I'm not listening.
Well, I did tell Keith.
Okay,
But
I got one thing to say. It's a shame that we're going through this, and I don't know who's responsible. I don't know. But your communication in your organization is not, your salesmanship ain't what it needs to be, bud. Okay? I'm gonna talk to you straight like you're talking to me, because you're not. You didn't bring forth, number one, that there was gonna be other entities involved. You didn't say anything about stipulations, and you was all about giving them away. I tell you where I'm at, committee. I think we're either gonna give it to the needs in the county, or we're gonna put them up for surplus and sell them. That's where I'm at. I'm embarrassed for McNairy County.
the reason I asked that a while ago about that was, we've got full-time firemen sitting there waiting on a call versus a volunteer fire group in Warrenville, am I right? And I would figure the response time would probably been, although it's west end of the county, would probably have been about the same time. That's the reason I asked about the the ISO rate? I didn't know if it was response time or what.
ISO got a limit how far the tankers can go and be qualified as automatic or mutual aid and be counted in the equations. They have a distance they gotta travel and they can't go past that distance.
Hey, can I say something? My house burned back in 2018 because we didn't keep enough water on it. Salmon was there, they had brought their tankers. So unless Salmon is planning on bringing 2 tankers or more, then no, they cannot offer what Orange people offer. Vice versa on the other end of the county. I can't speak for that end of the county because I don't live there. But I live in Rose Creek area. And my house completely burned. It was a total loss because there was not enough water.
Now, again, we have the same situation or a similar situation on the north end of the county, which is why we were looking to move one of those tankers to Enville. That north end of the county is water scarce. We don't have fire hydrants. We have a couple of potential water sites that have yet to be approved. Those are basically ponds we would have to drop a line in and suck the water up out of those ponds to refill the tankers or the engines. If Hornsby had, if Enville had one of those tankers, they're 2 miles from the county line. They can come into the north end of that county and serve the citizens of McNairy County and bring water and give us time to be able to mobilize the rest of the tankers in the rest of our area and bring them into that area. That area right now by mileage is outside of Selmer's range for tankers.
I'm gonna ask the question one more time. The need that you've conveyed tonight, Chief Carr, is that you have a need for one, and you're gonna have to borrow money to get it. Is that correct?
If y'all don't donate it, we're gonna have to go back to the drawing board. I've got to find the 3rd truck. I've got to go look, make a list of what it needs. I've got to get it to the gentleman to get the total price to get them refurbished. Now, you've got 2 emails there for me, and it shows what 3 trucks is down. And this is the only other thing that I'm gonna say, and it's in your own standing. There's been one time that we've been called to bring a tanker, that my big tanker was down. I could not respond. Any time that we're called, we're gonna come unless we're on the house fire wreck. We're gonna come. I don't care where it is. We had to go to Middleton the other night. There've been twice, we went to Memphis when their water lines froze and busted. One time was 2 days, the other time was 3. If we're called, we'll go. I don't care. If I've got a truck available. Like I said, it's in your all's hands. If y'all, well, it'll have to go to the commission. If y'all can donate, if not, we'll go back to the drawing board. I'll find the 3rd truck and we'll borrow the money.
Guys, it
It's just every time we turn around, the town of Selmer's having to borrow money. Am I correct, Sherry?
don't matter. Nothing is gonna work, guys. Nothing is gonna work. We could have 50 trucks out there ready to go, but nothing's gonna work if we don't work together.
I agree.
You know, now, like I said, I'm kind of like, I don't know who's responsible for what, but this stuff between the city and the county, it's gotta go, guys. We're grown adults, right? We're all McNairy County. We should have never been put in this position. If there was a truck surplus over here in the county and the city needed it, hey guys, y'all got anything, what y'all gonna do with that truck, or what, hey man, you need it, your truck down, all right, well that'll help. And then vice versa. If a county's got a fire, city needs to respond if they call to help out. It's we gotta put this, I don't know what the deal is, but it's been there a while. And this ain't the only, just fire ain't the only thing, okay? Y'all just happen to be in it right now. But this Selmer and county stuff, I don't know who's doing what, but it's gotta go. It's gotta go. We're all in this together.
No, I'm in favor of helping anyone. but we have to serve the needs of McNairy County. I understand that the city is in the county, but we're making financial decisions for the county, not the city. Okay? I'm not saying don't give it to somebody that has their own city, their own money. But the biggest problem is communication, for sure. That's right. I know Anthony said that Steve, when he called, if I'm wrong, please correct me, but when he called, he never, and left a message, he never said he wanted to discuss giving the tankers. But he called and left a message for you to return.
No, they spoke on the phone.
He did speak on the phone.
Yes, both of them, together on the phone.
And told him we had the tankers.
And the tanker didn't come up. The first call was for Chief to have a sit-down, face-to-face meeting with Anthony because of the very problems that we're having right now.
Okay, so you asked him, y'all asked him to have a conversation. and
The
he said-
second call was about 2 weeks after the first. About 2 weeks after the first. That second call to Anthony was because Anthony had sent a request asking for a full inventory of all of McNairy County Fire Department's apparatus.
Why would he need that?
You would have to ask Anthony. But that
Is
piece,
that some state regulations?
but that,
I have no idea what he's talking about. I
Of
pretty
course.
much know what every county station's got. They've got an engine and a pumper in it. There's 11 stations.
So you didn't call to ask him?
No.
No,
The
he-
second conversation from Steve was wanting me to get Tyler and Ellis together and us try to work this out. But we've already, and Guy can confirm this, we already had a meeting in February that went to Potts. We brought some of this back to life at the board meeting. Don't think we really got anywhere on that after David mentioned.
Well, here's the point I'm getting at is, y'all's communication is gonna have to be solved, or we're never gonna get anywhere,
again,
period. And I understand y'all reached out, but if they asked you to come and meet with them, why wouldn't you want to meet with them? I'm just curious.
I had 3 days to meet on that second phone call.
3 days from what?
The second conversation and then having to get the letter back in. It all goes back, like Keith says, they need to be an email. Everything that we do through the city,
Look,
there's email.
and I don't disagree with that. But I mean, but you can't meet in 3 days. Just ask.
Friday to Monday.
So you talking about the Friday to the Monday from the commission meeting? So that's the first time y'all contacted him?
I don't recall what day it was that Steve made the second phone call to
Look,
Anthony.
and look, I
But
hate that I sit
again-
here nitpicking, but I'm just gonna be honest with you. If I'm gonna have to make a decision, I need to know every single fact. I need to know they're saying the phone calls were made. You're saying that you couldn't meet with them. You're saying that they didn't tell you that that's what they wanted to talk about. Listen, if any one of these guys at this table call me, and it doesn't, and even when they say, call me back, I'm not gonna go, well, I'm not gonna call them back because I don't know what they want to talk about.
Well, again,
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna call them back.
well,
What you
again,
need?
if you would let me finish for just a moment,
Sure.
please. The second phone call that Anthony doesn't seem to recall having asked for our full inventory. In the course of that conversation, Steve had mentioned his request for the full inventory for our apparatus. And Steve told Anthony at that time that if he would meet with him face to face, then Steve would be happy to discuss that with him. That included those 2 tankers because they were still in play at that time. There had been no real decision made. We were aware that, for all intents and purposes, not getting return phone calls, that it didn't look like any of the municipalities in McNairy County needed them. We already knew that there was no need within any of our stations.
Right.
We were trying to entertain the idea of moving those tankers one to Enville and one to Hornsby at that time. Those tankers were still in play. There had been no presentation to the board to try and solidify this at all. But for whatever reason, Anthony claimed that he had scheduling difficulties on both occasions, and as far as I know, they never met. He never met with Steve. Now, I was a witness to those phone calls. I was a witness to what was said. That's what I'm here to tell you about.
Well, I do know that Anthony made a phone call to Nikki Moore and told him he needed him. But my question to you is, why didn't you call Steve? And tell him?
I didn't call Nicky. The day that he wanted me to come and look at his burn pit, I was gonna talk to you that day, but you had customers up front. I just mentioned it to him that day.
Well, okay, call, I shouldn't have said that, but you did communicate.
Yeah, and if you hadn't been busy, I would have communicated that. But I'm gonna get back.
And he told me that.
I have never asked what their inventory is. I don't need it. I know what they got.
But going back to the communication thing, Nikki did tell me that you came by to look at the burn pit, and he said Steve was, or Mr. Carr was gonna talk to me as well, but I was tied up. He told me what your request was. And you should reach out to your commissioners, or any commissioner for that point. But I also think that if you knew that you wanted them, you should have also reached out to him. And I guess what I'm trying to establish with the resounding exclamation point is the communication problem has to be fixed, because there's no way that y'all can serve McNairy County to the best of its ability when you're fighting fire, when y'all have, if y'all are on the same fire thing. I'm hoping you can put those differences aside. But
If you'll read that letter, Elvis agreed to this, he will. They've been disagreements. It used to be Selmer and Adams, they've been disagreements. But when them tones go off, everybody goes to the scene, they get the job done, and there's no fight.
I'm hoping so.
Right, Elvis?
I'm hoping
After
so.
the fire's out and all, it may be a different story, but when the fire's going, it's all about putting it out.
I wonder why we can't get along on this side of it.
Anybody?
I mean, listen, if there's rocks to throw, right now's the time to throw them. Because this is the governing body, and the first step of it, and then it goes to the commission.
Well, unfortunately, sir, I believe that the breakdown of communication, the animosity, very good word, that Guy Buck used the last meeting that we had, the animosity between the departments is there. And
do we know why?
I don't. I'm relatively new here. I've been here for about 18, 20 months. I've been on this department for a little over a year. Now, I will say that whatever the animosity is, wherever it stems from, it's a serious problem. Now, I will agree with Anthony. When the tones go off and we show up at the fire, we're all about putting out that fire. We're all about saving the people. We're all about trying to protect that property to the best of our abilities. And you know, again, not that I disagree with Anthony, but I'd like him to give us a little credit too. When the tones go off, his aren't the only people that will jump and respond. McNairy County Fire Department will do the same thing. Give us that credit, please. When we're on the fire ground, we work together to get the job done. What the animosity is between these seems to be a history lesson that predates me.
Well, it's not just fire departments, it goes county and city. It goes county and city both, not just in fire. If we build a building out here, we gotta get permits and all that stuff, the city's trying to charge us out that wazoo for whatever we try to do. So this has been going on for, there's been different things going on that's got this city and county thing, but it needs to stop, guys. I'm saying today. Okay, I want to give you that truck, Andy. I do. I want to give it to you so bad. And I ain't worried about what Selmer is out as far as money. I'm worried about putting a fire out here and saving somebody's life. If you need that truck, you need that truck. The county needs, the citizen needs that truck.
There's direct guidance here in the tank. How useful would a tanker be in city limits?
He's got 2 down.
3
down.
3 days.
Okay,
So, but anyway, there's more to it, guys. This is just, Let's just,
Sharon says just let it go. Look,
Yeah.
just make
I
a
can't-
decision,
I can't sit
either
here.
donate the truck or declare it surplus and pay those gov deals, and that'll give us a chance to buy it.
but I'm just, what I'm saying is there's been a city and county thing going on for a while. Okay? For whatever reason, there's been a city and county clashing for a while. This is not the only issue, it's just one of the issues. And I'm saying, let's put everything aside, guys, and start working together. That's what I'm saying, from everybody's standpoint.
Here, I want to say something. I don't want to sit here on this board and deny 2 or 3 trucks, and it doesn't matter if it's yours, north end of the county, south, I don't care what municipality it is. For me to sit here and force Selmer to have to go borrow some money for a tanker truck, and we got them, it don't look bad. I mean, it don't look good, it looks real bad. And if we got them, and they were deemed to go to surplus anyway, I just feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys are gonna reciprocate with the county, you're gonna go outside the city limits, you're gonna continue to do what you've been doing.
Anytime we're called, we'll go.
That's what I need to hear. I make a motion to give one of those surplus trucks to the city of Selmer with no stipulations and put the other one up for sale.
I have one question. You got 3 tankers down? Or 3 trucks?
I have 2 engines, and my third one is a pumper tanker. It's a dual-purpose truck. Now, we could go there tonight and get our one tanker that's up. It's a good truck. You know vehicles, they can break down at any time. We could go there and get it tonight and then not start. So I would be down to 0 tankers.
Which I wish Guy was here a while ago talking about, we've already declared this surplus, so I just want to make sure we're doing the right thing.
It'd have to go to surplus
Yeah.
We have to declare it surplus.
We did not already do that.
officially as a commission, no. Let me go ahead, I want to amend my motion.
I have a question.
Let me amend my motion right quick. If we did sell it, I'd want to take that revenue and help McNairy County Fire, whatever it brings, whatever it do. If it's sold, I'd want to give it to the McNairy County Fire Department.
The other question I have is, instead of this, could we just go ahead and just let them loan them that tanker till they get their situation straightened out? And then the other one, you let the ISO, we have to see whether there's one of those other departments that might fit to help in certain areas of the county. Just let them loan to the city of Selmer as long as they need it. And then when they decide they don't need it, they come back.
David, really, that's not gonna help us. I know my pumper tanker is going. I know my newest engine is going. They both have the Maxi Force engines. What if y'all loan it, first trip out, the motor blows up? Then $10,000 to $15,000.
Motion is on the floor right now.
I'm gonna have to buy, if y'all don't donate the tanker, we're gonna have to buy one. It's plain and simple. Either you can, if y'all see fit, the commission does, to donate us a tanker, that'll be fine. If not, I'm gonna have to buy one. That's the 3rd truck in Florida.
All right, we've got a motion on the floor. Anybody hear a second?
Second.
That motion was to donate 1 tanker to the city of Selmer,
With no stipulations,
stipulations, and the second tanker will be sold.
as surplus,
Proceeds to go to McNairy County Fire.
McNairy County.
The next argument will be which truck is which.
I would like to have the International, because I know what motor's in it. The other one's a Ford. I don't know what motor's in it, but I know what motor is in the International. It's a DT 466. There's still parts available. One of the trucks that I'm looking at right now has a 466 in it. I know I can get all the parts for it.
Well, if the second one's gonna be sold and the proceeds go to the McNairy County Fire Department, I want you to have, obviously, the best of the 2. Most durable, most maintained, whatever it may be.
May I say something before you vote on this?
Sure.
I'm not going to speak for Chief Stoll, but as the Assistant County Fire Chief for McNairy County Fire Department, I have absolutely no objections to the motion that you have on the table right now. One of the things that prompted me to come in here and speak so boldly to you was because of the communication problems, the resistance that we have from the municipalities, and the fact that this needed to be brought into the sunlight. It had to be brought in front of this board. You people needed to see this as it plays out and see how utterly devastating this can be to the county and to its citizens. Without your awareness and your attention to this, these problems are never going to get resolved. This, unfortunately, as confusing as it is and aggravating it is, I believe it's a step in the correct direction.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
All right, I got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I pass.
Call roll, Terry.
Terry?
Yes. Patricia?
Yes.
Phil?
Yes.
Keith?
Yes.
David? Passed.
Yes.
Doug? Yes.
All right, so motion carries. So you got you ought to be getting the international?
That's the one we'd like to have. Let's take this one step further. Let's get through the holidays. Let me get my truck deal done, because like I said, I'm still working on getting prices. I got to get the trucks trucked in here. Sometime in January, February, let's emergency services, and let's try to get all the city chiefs one night, and let's sit down and see if we can start in the right direction and fix the problems.
Well, I don't think that's a bad idea, but here's what's gonna have to happen. Every single chief's gonna have to air out exactly what the grievance is and not hold back. Because unless it's plainly said, nothing will ever
Yeah.
change.
And if Guy was here, Elvis was there, I think Steve admitted the meeting we had back in February, it got pretty
I'm
heated.
sure it did, and listen, I appreciate the guys that every one of y'all do. Mr. Rainey, Mr. Elvis, Mr. Carr, Chief Stoll, and your helpers, I appreciate it, I really do. And I'm just as aggravated as any one of you guys are, because I don't want it to make it sound like I don't want to help Selmer. I want to help Selmer because Selmer is inside McNairy County. But at the same time, we're here to do what's best. That's right. McNairy County. Not the city of Selmer, not the city of Eastview. That was part of my issue. It's not that I don't want to help Selmer, 100% do.
Well, I would ask you to please understand that when we worked this situation through to the end where we had brought it to the Emergency Services Board initially and where it went to the County Commission to try and place those tankers in Enville and Hornsby was for the purposes of helping the citizens of McNairy County in those areas where that extra water was going to be needed. Our focus wasn't on helping specifically Enville or Hornsby or those two counties respectively. It was intended with every intent that we could muster to position those tankers where they would do the most good for the citizens of the northern end and the western end of McNairy County. We were again looking out for our citizens.
Completely understand.
Again, guys, thank y'all for the job you do. We just need to work on communication with one another. And from here on out, please, let's email. That way there's a paper trail, okay? I mean, that's just the best communication. He said, she said, it eliminates all that. So let's just send the email. Email don't have the feelings and all that stuff associated with it, so, and it can be proven. So Again, guys, thank y'all for the job you do. I know you do it with passion, and I appreciate that.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.